average Americans are being scammed once again by billionaires. Basically, billionaires' capital does not get taxed. Workers' wages do. How does the richest man on earth, and you know who I'm talking about, how does the richest man on earth pay a tax rate 15 times lower than the average American? The same average American that earns in a lifetime what Bezos makes in 15 minutes. That's right, 15 minutes. That's not even 1,000 seconds, okay? That's crazy. Bezos can go take a shit, and by the time the stench is gone, he will have accumulated or made more than the average American makes in a lifetime. That's ridiculous. ProPublica, a few months ago, released a report titled Secret IRS Files. The report exposed how super rich pay next to nothing in taxes compared to their wealth. It explains how average people need income for basics like food and housing, and the ultra wealthy do not. They can live on borrowed cash. It explains it in 3 simple steps. It's called buy, borrow, die. Step 1 is you buy. The ultra wealthy buys an asset, build a company, or inherits a fortune. As long as they don't sell it, they pay no taxes. They keep their income as low as possible because every dollar they earn can be taxed, right? Makes sense. Step 2 is borrow. They borrow against their assets, and the bank gives them a really good deal. For example, they can get $10 million for 3% interest rather than take $10 million salary from their company. They'll owe 35% to the IRS. So they use their loan to fund their lifestyle, basically, their assets and whatnot. Step 3 is die. When they die, they use complicated trusts and philanthropic foundations to avoid estate tax. And their heirs can inherit stocks and their other assets tax-free. And that's how it works. So what we need is a wealth tax, right? Instead of a income tax. Between 2014 and 2018, Bezos paid a tax rate of 0.98%. The average American pays 14.6%. 15 times more than what he pays. That is this guy has more money than any. Amazon is our president. Bezos' income in 2020 was $81,840. Bezos earned $75 billion that year. Like I said, we need a wealth tax. Close the loopholes. This has been known. People know this, all right? It's just not happening because of exactly the corporations have bought the government and they run everything. By the way, Warren Buffett pays a tax rate of 0.01%. That's 0.1%. You know, if you think about it, paying your dues is like taxes, right? Your dues are your taxes. If there's one thing we can all relate on, it's paying your dues is paying your taxes. It just, wouldn't it make sense to pay according to your wealth? That would make tons of sense. The less you have, the less you pay, right? Well, that's not how it is. And this is the point I want to get to. I want to nail on this. All the talk about redistribution is theft, taxing the rich is theft. You know, all these billionaires are the same people that spend millions and millions of dollars to buy the best lawyers, to buy the best influencers, to buy the best lobbyists, just to sell you the idea that socialism is bad. Socialism is evil. Yeah. What do you call this? What do you call this? And don't give me that trickle down bullshit. That doesn't work. We've known that now. The Reagan era, trickle down, yeah, it doesn't work, okay? And anybody that's still not caught up on that, we figured that out. We got mountains of data to prove it. But what do you call this? Because this isn't just socialism, right? This is socialism on steroids. This is, you know what? This is the ultimate trigger word. This is the cringe word. This is looting. That's what this is. This is looting. This is evil right here. What you're seeing today is evil. In fact, the last 40 years has been nothing but a massive redistribution scam, the biggest one in American history, arguably. I think so. But in corporations, it's all the same. Endless mega corporations pay zero. They got a list of corporations here that pay $0.00, and sometimes pay in the negatives. They pay in the negatives. They actually get net subsidies. It's socialism, unnecessary socialism. This is insane. It's incredible. In 1952, the corporate tax rate accounted for 33% of all federal tax revenue. Today, it accounts for 10%. That, my friends, is how and why we have the burden, you and me, of, carrying the tax weight on our shoulders. That's what this is. It's a hustle. It's a scam. My friend Cash, he was on the first BS with Toke show. He's got this clothing line out. That's how we met. It's Scam America. And it relates. It's everywhere you look. The corporations have effectively taken over the government, and it's all to work for the billionaires and very few people. And it's not the workers. It's not working for the workers. All you see is socialism. Everywhere you look for the wealthy. Just look at the 2017 tax cuts. They said that was populist, even though only 33% of Americans were for it or in favor of it. So much for democracy, right? The benefits went almost exclusively to the top 5% of earners. And I believe it was like 80 or 85% went to the top 1%. So it added $1.4 trillion to the deficit. Yeah, that deficit that everybody's worried about. They're never worried about when they're giving it to the oligarchs. And what about the CARES Act, right? The CARES Act alone was the highest, largest upwards transfer of wealth in American history. And $5 trillion went straight to the top. Didn't help you or me. Our economy right now is a house of cards. It's a Jenga tower that's wobbling all over the place. It's not safe right now. The marginal tax rate, the top of marginal tax rate, I think is like 37%. They're trying to make it 39%. But that's income based. The AOC wore her dress, the tax the rich dress, and everybody's talking about that. But there was a good tweet. Somebody put it out. I forget who it was. It might not even been a tweet. I saw it somewhere. But they were talking about how the left is divided in half. Well, AOC wearing that dress, you could tell who was on what side of what based off their reaction of her wearing that dress. And for me, it's quite simple. Instead of wearing tax the rich on there, it would have been better if she would have put wealth tax on the rich, because that would have showed the progressive side of her. She's not the same AOC that was protesting outside of Nancy Pelosi's office. Okay, let's just get that clear. She's not. All right. A lot of people like to think she is. She's not. She's been taken over, and that's, whatever. I'm not going to say anything more to that. I'm just going to go with that. But FDR, right? The marginal tax rate, top marginal tax rate for him, he proposed during the Great Depression, 100%. Now, it was 94, and effectively it was lower than that, but it's still a lot higher than the 30% that we have today. And again, paying taxes, all right, Taxes are the price we pay for living in a functioning society, all right? It's your dues you have to pay. This is an American thing. It's your patriotic duty to pay your taxes. So this is another reason why I'm organizing, one of the multitude of reasons why we're organizing. And I'm just waiting for you guys to come along, because this is going to be what it's about every time. There's going to be plenty of examples down the road. I'm going to continue to do this. I'm going to continue to tell you step by step how they're violating every part of our rights and getting away with murder. They're writing their own. Does it make it right that they're writing their own rules, all right, even though they're legal, and robbing us blind? It doesn't make it right. That is a heist. That's looting. That's what they're doing. It's socialism. It's the same thing that they hire all these lobbyists and people to tell you that it's bad, and all the think tanks, bad, socialism, bad. So, you know, this is an ongoing thing. So subscribe to the podcast. Let's go. Let's organize, and let's really put some pressure on these people.